gentlemen, the Sky Bet Football League features in the programme tonight because no Sunday fixtures this week. 36 games then and 86 goals to look forward to and some great late drama.
Yes, thrilling action today, and with only 10 days to go in the transfer window, who's in the news? Andre Gray has swapped the red of Brentford for the claret of Burnley. Just 24 hours before the two sides met. The fee could rise to £9 million.
Charlie Austin stays on the market and in the news thanks to his spat with West Ham's chairman. But for now, he's still the bee's knees at QPR and starred against Rotherham.
Benik Afobe was in the Wolves lineup at Cardiff. Wolves say they've no need and no intention of selling their star goalscorer.
In League One, Walsall's Tom Bradshaw and Coventry's Adam Armstrong have been scoring goals and winning admirers. Today, they went face-to-face.
And in Sky Bet League 2, it was a day of comebacks at both ends of the table.
Former Brighton defender Adam Virgo will be giving us the pros view today.
Right, 36 games to get on with, so let's get on with it. Hull City have been going through the traditional battle. Hold on to your best players after relegation from the Premier League. Steve Bruce has already lost James Chester, Robbie Brady and Tom Ince to West Brom, Norwich and Derby, respectively. And after beating Fulham on Wednesday, the message was pretty clear. Keep the squad together and we'll challenge, lose more players and we're goosed. I think we know what he means. Well, Hull travel to the Valley to take on fellow high-flyers Charlton, quietly putting together a confident start under Guy Luzon. Your commentary comes from Paul Walker.
What about Joe? And slips at a crucial moment. And Charlton could break here. Johan Berg Gudmundsson, McKeenock peeling off to the right. It's gone wide instead to Bergdich. Beat Smiler, chance to shoot. It nicked Michael Dawson on its way through. It's livened up the crowd. Cashin for Ahern Grant. Steps away from Dawson. Chance to shoot, here he will. Goes well wide in the end. The confidence of a man who knows what it's like to score goals. Maybe not at first team level, but certainly on the level below. Credit to both sets of players because the heat down there is quite oppressive. And to play at full tilt in this kind of weather is no mean feat. Bergdish, now Fox, Bauer, McKeenock. Look for the chest off, it's broken kindly here for El Hadji Bar, and that's a decent ball over the top of Ahern Grant. Best chance of the game. Best chance of the game so far. Goes to the 18-year-old, who's shown moments of real promise in this game. Well, he manages to smile about it, Guy Luzon, but he will know that that was a good chance for his team. Diarra with a free kick, now Gudmundsson. Can he conjure up a cross here? Stands it up, it's good! It's excellent! Simon McKeenock scores his first ever Charlton goal! Boy, they've needed that! The game's needed it! Simon McKeenock with the breakthrough! Aluko. As Hull have to try and find a response now. Might just get both teams going, that goal. Myler for Akpom. I have to say, many people I spoke to at half-time felt that this would be 0-0. Hard to argue the case after what we saw in the first half. But it's come alive now. And Hull City have a corner kick here. Huddleston will take this corner kick. And Hull reply quickly. Leave it on. Away by the goalscorer, McKeenock. El Mohammadi tries to turn it back in, but now they can break away with Ahern Grant. And look at Gudmundsson out on this right-hand side. He'll get there as well. Vital slip from Robertson. This could be it. Terrific save from McGregor. Excellent. excellent save. Keeps Hull right in the match. big moment in the game. The slip from Robertson lets in Goodmanson. McGregor makes himself big, and that is an excellent stop from a goalkeeper who's had a couple of shaky moments in the opening weeks of the season. Moses Obabajo. Now Ahmed El-Mohammadi for Chuba Akpom. Jelavic lurking around the penalty spot. It's Akpom himself! And Pope at last is tested. He's been a spectator in the game, Nick Pope, pretty much. Chuba Akpom forces him into action. Jelavic beaten to it. He'll drop here for Hayden. Will he take the shot on? He will! Oh! Off the post! Back out to Klukas. He might get a second bite here, Hayden. Isaac Hayden! Spilled by the goalkeeper, turned in by Hernandez! A last-minute equaliser from Abel Hernandez! Rescues the game for Hull City! Well, it's cruel on Charlton. But Abel Hernandez has come up trumps for Hull right at the death. Charlton 1, Hull City 1. Cousins. And Jelavic gets rid of it. Still 1-1. Kashi. Ballooned in towards McKeenock. It's a good knockdown. Goodmanson! There is a late twist. Oh, they're bouncing in the sunshine now. Johan Goodmanson breaks Hull City hearts. Guy Luzon joins in the pile-on. And surely Charlton now will maintain their unbeaten start to the season. Great knockdown, and Goodmanson in bravely. Charlton Athletic 2, Hull City 1.
I spoke with the player in the half, and I told them that we need to make the decision. If we want to be a naive team, a sympathetic team, you know, only to move the ball and play well and go after the game without the points, or to be killers and to take all the 3 points.
We have to eradicate a performance like that in the first hour. We came to life in the second half after they scored. That seemed to wake us up, and after that I was much, much better, and it was a game of football. But for the first hour it was probably the worst game of football I think I've seen for a long, long time.
Yeah, extraordinary late drama there, Adam Virgo. You've got to feel for Steve Bruce, but Charlton unbeaten and continuing to impress.
I think in the Championship you've really got to try and build momentum from early on, and Guy Luzon's come in and they're playing without any fear. And I think Tony Watt, I know he didn't play today, but somebody I feel has something to prove in the Championship, and he's been a good signing for them so far. And
the manager sent off for his enthusiastic celebration.
Well, I think this is where common sense really has to prevail. This is the emotions of football, and as you see there, 98th minute winner. You've got to allow the emotions of a manager to run wild a little bit, and to send him off, I feel was a little bit harsh.
We found somewhere to sit. I think it was about 2 seats away from where he was. A word on Hull City. Steve Bruce, so frustrating. He's losing players because they have release clauses after being relegated, and he's struggling to bring in the players he wants to as well.
Well, you saw with Andre Gray, he's lost that to Burnley, and the players that have been spoken about going out the club are key players for him, the likes of Huddleston and Jelavic, etc. So he'll probably have some sleepless nights coming into the end of this transfer window, but say as soon as that's over with, he'll be delighted, I think.
Tough day for Hull. Another great afternoon, though, for Charlton.
Special scenes there, and it was a special day at Loftus Road today when they celebrated the career of the man voted QPR's best ever player, Stan Bowles.
And Busby a long one forward. Venables beautifully on now for Bowles. Oh, a tremendous goal! And Bowles onside. Siddle's come roaring out of his goal. Now what will Bowles do? Onto the left foot he'll hope. No, onto the right foot. That's there. That's two. And that's Bowles.
Well, Stan is now battling with Alzheimer's, and he was at Loftus Road today where there was a collection supporting him and the Alzheimer's Society as the club once again supported their hero. Queen's Park Rangers then took on Rotherham, and Richard Henwood has the report.
On a day designed to help an old Rangers hero, the current crop of stars were involved in a match the great man would have relished. They led just before half-time through one of Chris Ramsey's summer signings, Jaron Cherry, who made the most of Charlie Austin's delicate layoff. And Cherry looked all set to steal the limelight from the much-talked-about Austin as he doubled the Rangers' lead just after half-time, with a much simpler finish this time. But Austin's a difficult man to overshadow, and with just over an hour played, he showed just why he's valued at £15 million by the club, and why he remains likely to move to the Premier League, although his run deserved a more memorable finish. Rotherham seemed well beaten, but they'd been a little unlucky in the first half, so they were well worth the goal which made it 3-1, which was scored by Johnson Clark-Harris. And their ambitions weren't restricted to damage limitation. They sensed a point when Tom Thorpe was given far too much space and gratefully tapped in his side's second goal with a couple of minutes left. But ultimately, the headline act was Austin. During the week, he was involved in a row over his long-term fitness as he responded to comments from West Ham chairman David Sullivan. Lee Frecklington's foul on Sebastian Polter gave him the chance to finish the week with yet another goal, his 4th in 3 games. So it finished 4-2, and Rangers are up to 6th.
Well, our guest this evening might have thought that after 5 years at Loftus Road and 172 appearances, playing under 7 managers, give or take, that he probably would have seen it all. But life at QPR is never dull, and as we saw today's game, no exception. So please welcome the QPR club captain, Clint Hill. Great result for the team today, but what a way to start the day with the tributes to Stan Bowles.
Oh, it was a fantastic day. I mean, the sun was shining, and to see this player come on, he was such an iconic figure for QPR, an absolute legend in his own right. He had to see him come on in the centre of the pitch and get the ovation he did was a massive lift for all the players and the fans.
How much do players at QPR know about Stan Bowles? There'd be some, I mean, there'd be plenty that weren't even born when he was playing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the players over the past, there's been Jerry Francis, Rodney Marsh and obviously Stan Bowles, so they're the 3 kind of main players that you get told about. And there was a few clips on before the game today, and you can just see the goals he scored, and you can understand why he's such a big figure at QPR.
And then when the game itself got underway, it looked as though it was going to be a very straightforward afternoon. But there were some tense moments at the end, weren't there? Yeah,
this is QPR. It's never quite straightforward, I'm afraid. Yeah, we seem to be conceding 2 goals a game at the minute, which is not good for us. 3-0 up, as you said there, but looked to be cruising the game. But then credit to Rotherham, they came back, showed a bit of fight. And then, lucky enough, we got a penalty to make it 4-2. So, yeah, we were quite happy with the 3 points in the end.
The penalty and one of the goals scored by Charlie Austin. With everything that's going on around the speculation about his future, how impressed are you that he's scoring, he's still doing what he's supposed to do on the pitch?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he's still scoring. That's what he's done since he's been here. He's such a great lad to have around the place as well. Never misses training. And this is what he does best. You know what I mean? He's just bullied 2 defenders and... got a bit lucky with the keeper, but if you put it on target, you score your goals, don't you? But he's been a great signing for us over the 2 years, and yeah, he'd be sadly missed if he does go.
His knees look all right to you?
Fantastic, yeah. He told me to say that, though. No, but he's yeah, I mean, that was one of the silliest statements I've ever seen, to be honest with you. You see the games that he's played the last 2 years, to come out with that statement was a bit childish. And
like you said, you're not surprised that he's playing as well as he is with all that distraction. Is it distracting the other players, though, to have someone in the dressing room who's such a big part of the team being constantly linked with a move away?
It is hard. I mean, he's not the only player now. We've got like Matty Phillips being linked, Rob Green being linked this week, maybe Leroy Fair. So it's going to be difficult, and we won't really know until the transfer window shuts. Obviously, we want them to stay, because I think if them 3 or 4 players do stay, I think we can compete in this league. But if they do go, it's going to be hard for us unless we invest that money.
But it's QPR. I mean, I think it's 81 players have gone since you came to the club.
Yeah, and I'm still around somehow. I really don't know. Yeah, I mean, I look around the change room sometimes and think, wow, remember that guy who used to sit there? He was a big international player. And you can just go through them all, but it's been a roller coaster ride, to say the least.
It is a roller coaster ride, and a great result today, and a great occasion as well, George.
And a really nice shirt, actually, that. Worth mentioning the other charity shirts in the Football League. Northampton Town's pink away kit, that supports Copperfield, with 10% of sales going to the breast cancer charity. Scunthorpe United have the prostate cancer charity logo on the front of their home and away kits this season as well. Prostate Cancer UK is also the official charity partner of the Football League. Both these clubs coming up a little later on, but much more from the Championship after this short break. Welcome back to Football League tonight. We've already seen Hull beaten at Charlton and Rotherham at QPR in the company of Rangers captain Clint Hill. On with the Championship now.
Yes, and last season, Paul Clement was working with Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale at Real Madrid. Managing Derby County's promotion challenge is a slightly different proposition, and so far it's been tough going. Derby have yet to lead in any match, and only this late goal from Johnny Russell saved a point against Middlesbrough on Tuesday. 3 draws out of 3. Could the team give Clement his first win away to unbeaten Birmingham last night? Daniel Mann and Don Goodman.
Here is Donaldson. Magnificent all-round contributions so far in the early stages of this season from him. Maybe an opportunity to fashion something here for Gray.
Excellent football from Birmingham City. He gets a good strike on the ball, doesn't he? The young man, unfortunately for Birmingham, straight at Scott Carson.
It's Caddis. Now Gleeson. Donaldson looking for it, and he's got there, but Carson in the way.
Oh, what a ball that is, and what a chance. A yard either side of Scott Carson, and Birmingham have the lead.
Now Cottrell. Under pressure, and the pressure is paid, and here's Ince. Oh, and Bent's on the scene, and Brown's got there in the nick of time.
Shoulder to shoulder. Birmingham may have a case for a foul there. It wasn't given. This is a decent attempt, but well done. I think it was Jonathan Grounds, wasn't it? That followed in and got there ahead of Darren Bent. It's good defending from the left back.
Here's Ince. Oh, that was a stunning strike. How unlucky can you get?
Wow. And you watch this. Takes up a good position in between the lines and then just unleashes a thunderbolt. Look at the swerve on that. Takes it away from Thomas Kusiak.
Terral, Gray. Bring it on to Donaldson, who's got a bit of work to do here.
Yeah, good little spell to end the half with here.
Gleeson fancied the pot shot, and that is why. Well, that's some way to open your account for the club. He had a real sighter last week against Burnley, but he's hit the target here.
There may be a slight deflection that just nicks it away from Scott Carson. I mean, it couldn't be any more in the corner.
Forsyth. Oh, and well, it was difficult for Kusiak, and Bent is battling. Well, did that move an awful lot? Did it take a nick?
Well, he hasn't had too many saves to make because Derby have missed the target, but Craig Forsyth really catches hold of this strike. It swerves and it dips and ball pops up.
Gray. Donaldson. Promise here. And the hands of Carson stung. Terral is there. And he was just a fraction on the stretch in the end.
Wonderful play again. Gleeson at the heart of it. Lovely strike. It's a good save from Scott Carson.
It's Russell away from Caddis and takes the chance. Yet again, Derby hit back.
Tom Ince driving in. He's under pressure, but he draws Paul Caddis towards the ball.
and then manipulates it outside the fullback. Wonderful touch, and he's got a hammer of a left foot, and it's game on again.
Russell, man possessed now. Terrific run, and he'll find Ince. Bent is waiting, Martin's waiting, Russell wants it too, and Bent is in there! And a fraction away. Real escape for Birmingham.
Well, Gary Rowett's out, and he needs to get a grip of his team. They're rocking a little bit.
Nice combination there between Martin and Ince. It's a brilliant combination! And it is a penalty!
No.
Or is he going to book him for diving? Yes, he is.
Well done, Lee Mason. You look at Jonathan Spector, he just stands on his toe. That's not the kind of challenge that makes you fall over.
Well, Vyman. And the deflection! Oh! Wow! They had their life in their hands for a moment. They're just waiting to see if they would get a lucky break off the post, and they did.
Wicked deflection, look, his right hand, what a save that is.
I thought it was an amazing game in terms of a spectacle. Of course, both managers, I'm sure, won't want the game to have so many chances in it. But I thought first half, you know, for spells in the first half, I thought some of our movement and some of our attacking play was really, really good, and our counter-attacking play was electric.
Well, Gary Rowett's got a fantastic record, particularly at home as Birmingham manager. And when he was at Burton, it was a similar situation to yours with Chris Ramsey, in that he was, you know, on the backroom staff and then moved to be manager of them. How does your relationship as a player have to change with the manager when he steps up?
I think first and foremost you have to call him Gaffer. I think that's the first thing you have to get right.
Does that make a difference in your head?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think obviously the respect goes up a little notch or two as well. And obviously Chris or the Gaffer might have to take a little bit more of a backward step and not be involved with all the daily banter as you do as your coach. But on the day-to-day running of the thing, it's not that much difference. I mean, he's a hands-on manager anyway, Chris. So what he was doing last year, he's kind of doing this year as well. So that's been a transitional, easy enough period for us.
And people know sort of Paul Clement's background, coming as a coach at Real Madrid, being second in command to Carlo Ancelotti, and then finally taking his first job on his own. I just wonder, as a player, if it's different taking instructions from somebody on the touchline who hasn't really had a playing career.
Well, it is difficult, and I'm sure that will work against him if he if he managed right at the top level. But as an ex-player, I'll be looking at the way what he can bring to the football club, his training sessions, the way that he goes day to day, the players that he signs, the way that he wants the team to play. Listen, your Real Madrids and PSG, you're going to have some background that you're going to bring with you. So I'm sure the Derby players respect him more than ever. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a few unbeaten records still going in the Championship, George.
Yes, now kick-off at Brighton against Blackburn was delayed by 15 minutes today after the tragic events at the nearby Shoreham Air Show. Our thoughts are with all of those affected. As for the football, Chris Ford brings us up to date with the game at the Amex Community Stadium.
Gary Bowyer's Blackburn arrived at the Amex Stadium looking for their first win of the season and started brightly with Fode Koita denied by David Stockdale. But Brighton have made an unbeaten start to this season, and Kazenga Luar doesn't make a habit of missing opportunities when he's given this much space. And when he scores this season, Brighton go on to win 1-0. Rovers were doing their best to make sure that didn't happen. Nathan Delfonso was through on goal, but saw his shot smothered by Stockdale. Luar was full of tricks as Brighton looked to extend their lead. His cross eventually falling to Thomas Hemed, who was denied spectacularly by David Raya, who was on hand again just seconds later to push away Dale Stevens' angled shot. For the third time this season, Brighton win 1-0, thanks to a Luar goal.
Ipswich have made a fantastic start to the season, and they became the first team to score against Preston in the league when Freddie Sears' cross was headed in by Brett Pitman for his first goal for the club. But under Simon Grayson, Preston have been tough to beat at Deepdale, and when Chris Humphrey found Daniel Johnson on the counter-attack, their record of 15 home games without defeat seemed all set to be extended. Ipswich are an increasingly confident side, though, and they came up with the winner in the second half through Ryan Fraser. But the league leaders' heroes weren't just in attack. Goalkeeper Dean Gherkin's save from Paul Huntington preserved the advantage, and Ipswich won at Preston for the first time in the league since 1966.
It was a scrap. It really was fighting it out, and it was a one real bit of quality from us. We kept it and we finished it clinically.
Reading have struggled for goals at home, and there were certainly one or two nerves on display as they took on MK Dons at the Medeski. Hal Robson-Kanu among those frustrated in their attempts to find a way past David Martin. And in the end, it was the Dons who came closest to scoring, thanks to a former Reading player. Simon Church denied his big moment by the post. Reading continued to search for a winner in the second half, with Oliver Norwood testing Martin, but it's now 7 home games without a win, and they failed to score in the last 6.
This week, Middlesbrough will celebrate 20 years at the Riverside Stadium, but any party atmosphere for the home fans was soon stifled. Bristol City have a good record on Teesside. They haven't lost on the last 4 visits and took an early lead through Joel Bryan. It should have been 2-0 for the party-pooping visitors, but somehow Bobby Reid, making his first start in more than a year, managed to miss from close range after Aaron Wilbraham's shot was pushed into his path. Having tried and failed from the 6-yard box, City tried their luck from further out, but Dimi Konstantopoulos was equal to Jonathan Khadija's effort. After a poor opening 45, Borough at least tried to get the party atmosphere back in the second half. Ben Hamer, on loan from Leicester City, denied Christian Stuani a first league goal. Hamer was called into action again, with Stuart Downing's crosses causing problems, this time the keeper denying Daniel Ayala an equaliser. And Hamer had the final say in the game after the ball eventually fell to Grant Ledbetter. A firm left hand stopped Borough from taking a point from the game. City held on for a first league win of the season.
Now, the big story ahead of Burnley against Brentford wasn't necessarily about matters on the pitch, because Andre Gray moved from Brentford to Burnley for £6 million, rising potentially to £9 million, which is just extraordinary. We'll talk about him very shortly. First, though, to the game itself. And though he was in the stands, neither side needed him. Got a goal from a defender.
Yeah, they did, and that's always the case, isn't it? But I thought Brentford started really, really well. So the manager, Dijkhuizen, he's lost 4 key players: Adebayo, Douglas, Gray and Dallas as well. But what a great through ball this was. So it was a good save from Vibe, and that was really the only chance that they created all game. And to concede a set play is always difficult. And so Michael Keane here rises really well at the far post, and Sean Dyche will be delighted. How the goal comes, he won't really matter, even though he's probably got a £9 million striker sitting in the stands. And this is Brentford again, really playing themselves into trouble. Henning's putting the keeper under pressure, and this was a great shot here from Arfield. Just goes agonisingly past the post, but when you take a goal kick, you put yourself under pressure playing it back to the keeper's weak foot. I'm sure Sean Dyche would be delighted with the result and the signing that he's made.
Absolutely, but £6 million, there's so much money being spent on transfers in the Championship and between Championship clubs as well.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, if you look at, maybe flip it on the other side and you go Premier League, so Premier League club, you don't really bat an eyelid. That's £6 million, £9 million. But when it comes to Championship clubs matching that fee and going to a Championship club, it seems to be, wow, that's quite a hefty fee. But strikers are such a rare commodity, and if they score goals, I mean, that's why they earn the top money.
And I suppose if you're going to be earning tens of millions of pounds, even if you go up into the Premier League and finish bottom, it's a gamble maybe worth taking to lay out, you know, maybe £6 to £9 million to get 10 times that back at the end of the following season, if, of course, you go up. So what kind of player are they getting, and can he take them to that level? Well,
I saw him play a lot for Luton when he got them promoted into League Two, and he showed last season what a quality striker he is with 18 goals. I think they've found Ings, the replacement there, the similar player. Sean Dyche likes defending from the front with his 2 strikers, and I think it's a risk worth taking signing him.
Yeah, and you think it's something that Burnley fans should be very pleased with.
Yeah, you'd expect them to be pretty chuffed with that Andre Gray signing, Kelly. We found one who perhaps is a little bit less excited by it. Have a load of this from Tom. If Burnley sign Andre Gray, I'll do 10 laps of the Turf Moor pitch naked with Sean Dyche on my back. Good luck with that, Tom. Nowhere to hide now. Plenty more football when we get back, including an absolute cracker. A goal, that is, at Elland Road. Welcome back to Football League tonight. At lunchtime today, Leeds United took on Sheffield Wednesday, and Leeds came into this game having played 3 away games in 6 days across the league and Capital One Cup. Your commentary from Elland Road comes from Bill Leslie and Neil Mellon.
Berardi, Barham, Phillips. Here's Liam Cooper. And it's fired over the top by Stuart Dallas.
Found himself in a good area. Just outside the Sheffield Wednesday box, he's under no pressure.
Wood. Antonucci.
Wasn't far away then, Antonucci. Just to get the shot away. It's been a real disciplined first half so far from Sheffield Wednesday. Obvious they want to make it as difficult as possible for Leeds.
And playing right on the shoulder here and staying onside. Oh, what an effort that is! A wonderful goal, Matthias! They're already warming to this man at Hillsborough, and that will do nothing to discourage the love from the Sheffield Wednesday fans. A wonderful goal!
What a finish this is. Marco Matthias, so much to do. Initially at Leeds, they're looking for the offside. He's onside, times it well. Still so much to do. He has the ability. Flicks it over the defender's head on. What an absolute beauty that is. So much to do. The technique is perfect.
Marco Matthias, magic. Stuart Dallas. Antonucci. Dallas. And Wood would have been offside anyway.
Almost comes inside. He's going for goal himself. He's onside. Just gets a slight touch there, Wood. Not too sure Price would have been able to react to that.
Bamba. Easing beyond Hutchinson. Now Mowat. Bamba's continued his run into the box. Dallas to provide the ammunition. Doing well as well. Wood saying where he wants it and gets it! Leeds back in business. 2 goals in a week for Chris Wood. And he opens his Ellen Road account.
2 players around him, a nice little bit of skill, a little nutmeg there. Look at the movement there, Chris Wood. He knows exactly where he needs to be. In between the sticks, he manages to get away from the 2 Sheffield Wednesday centre-halves. And Leeds finally have that equalising goal.
Dallas again. Wood. Mowat. Antonucci making good ground down the left, but Palmer was aware of that. Well, there's an opportunity for him to drive his side forward. Finding lead. In goes Bamba. Palmer. Who started it off and very nearly finished it off as well.
It all starts from Liam Palmer at the back. Anticipates the ball really well, but carries on his run forward. And nearly breaks to him as it came to lead. I thought he may go for the dummy initially.
Points at stake, Yorkshire pride at stake. The homegrown Charlie Taylor looking for Wood!
The ball from this left-hand side from Charlie Taylor, but so much still to do. Hangs in the air.
Bamba. Taylor. Palmer's glance. Mowat. Berardi. Wood's in. But he's offside.
Wants to come in from this right-hand side. It's tight, wasn't it? It's Palmer, the right back, just playing him on, just gets the wrong side of Leeds.
I can't ask for any more. Obviously, on the ball, we wasn't as good as we wished, but the game from Wednesday was definitely in the legs. We made that up with a fantastic effort, character and endeavour to come back. It's the first time we've been back. We've been down 1-0 this season. The Football League put us through a schedule what is not fair, as simple as that. And coming out of this with unbeaten in the league and the travel arrangements we had is outstanding.
There's some more good goals coming up, but I'm not sure any of them are going to match Marco Matthias' effort. Now, 3 more games from the Sky Bet Championship, starting with Wolves away at Cardiff.
There was a minute's applause before this game as Cardiff City paid tribute to lifelong fan Gareth Seville, who died aged just 22 after a long battle with illness. Cardiff thought they'd taken the lead just before the half-hour mark. Joe Mason eventually put the ball in the back of the net, but Wolves keeper Carl Ikeme had at least one hand on the ball. He claimed two, and the goal was disallowed. Wolves had thrown away a 2-goal lead midweek and failed to make David Marshall make even a single save in this game. This was as close as they came. Courtney House heading over. If there was one man on the pitch you would want on the end of a cross, it would probably be Kenwyne Jones. He ignored the attention of two defenders and Ikeme to open the scoring, followed by the trademark celebration. Jones was substituted for Sammy Amiobi, and the Newcastle United loanee guaranteed the points for Cardiff and provided the perfect tribute for the man they'd applauded before the game even begun.
Both Fulham and Huddersfield went into this game without a win to their name, and it was the away side who looked all set to put the record straight as Harry Bunn's run set up Naki Wells for his second goal of the season. It came midway through the second half, but 5 minutes into stoppage time, Fulham launched one final assault. The ball broke loose in the penalty area, and Cauley Woodrow rescued a very welcome point for the home side. With just 4 games gone, these two sides occupy the places just above the bottom 3.
Bolton had failed to score in their opening 4 games of this season. They were gifted an opportunity to end that unwanted run when their former captain Matt Mills shoved Zach Clough in the area. Gary Medine took responsibility from 12 yards out, but confidence in front of goal is understandably low for Bolton, and his spot kick was saved by Doris de Vries. Having missed that opportunity, the visitors made Bolton pay. Substitute David Vaughan had only been on the pitch for 6 minutes, but his first goal for Forest was one to remember, and it looked as though it would be the winner. Only for Bolton to snatch a point in injury time. After 450 minutes of league and cup football, Stephen Dobbie finally grabbed the first goal of the season for Neil Lennon's side, ending a goal drought that dated all the way back to April.
Right, of the 47 games played in the Championship so far, 23 have been draws, which gives, as you would expect, the table a very even look.
However, unbeaten Ipswich remain top after their 3rd straight win. Brighton are up to 2nd, with Charlton jumping 3 places to 3rd after a late winner. At QPR, Cardiff are the other climbers in the top half.
At the other end of the table, 8 teams are still without a victory, including pre-season favourites Derby County. There are early warning signs for Rotherham United, bottom with 10 goals conceded in only 4 games. And what about Blackburn Rovers? A surprise to see them in the bottom 3. And manager Gary Bowyer will need to change that very quickly indeed.
Clint Hill is back with us. Clint, looking at Queen's Park Rangers, one of the big climbers up into the top 6. Is that where you're aiming, or are you looking at automatic promotion?
I think we're quite happy where we are at the moment. We had a tough first game against Charlton, losing 2-0, and then let 2 goals slip against Cardiff. So it's been a great week. I think we've picked up 7 points, so that's a good start. Give us a bit of confidence. Hopefully we'll kick on and we'll see what the transfer window brings us.
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of things to be sorted out during that. Best of luck for the rest of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, Clint Hill.
Thank you very much.
And off he goes. We move on to League One now, and we start with Walsall against Coventry, and 2 goal scorers attracting a lot of attention. Walsall's Tom Bradshaw has 4 goals this season after a hat-trick in the League Cup, and Swindon are thought to be keen to take him to the county ground. Adam Armstrong, well, he is, in fact, on loan from Newcastle, but his first 5 senior goals have come in his first 3 games for Coventry City. Adam, Virgo, you've been looking at these 2 today. A good day for one of them, at least.
Yeah, definitely. And these 2 sides are really good on form at the moment. And Dean Smith's side also, I felt, started better. You know, Tony Mowbray has said before that he's going to keep with his attacking philosophy. And I thought they started much of the better of the 2 sides. And this is really how they play. Really good attacking pressure. As your full-backs there getting the cross in. And all of a sudden you're keeping the second balls alive. So it's a great ball in there from Dimitru. Malkovich at the far post. Doesn't quite hit the target, but, as you say, they started really, really well. And this is how the first goal came about. Bradshaw that we're talking about, wonderful layoff there. That perfect through ball. Forward with the finish, maybe looking at Taylor just to maybe cover around a little bit more.
And that was 5 minutes before half-time.
And now, when you're on form, this is what happens when you get a little bit of luck. Parry from the keeper, but there's the man of the moment, Tom Bradshaw, that we were talking about. And he gets his goal there, which he took very, very well.
5 in 4 for him.
I say another player now, we're talking about Adam Armstrong. He scored all kinds of goals this season and unlucky there from the free kick. But you know, Coventry under Tony Mowbray at the moment really are trying to get the goals going. And I tell you what, you will not see a better goal in League One today from Jacob Murphy. Cuts inside brilliantly into the top corner. And you really felt there Coventry were going to get back into it. I say full credit to Dean Smith's side. Great strike there at the end from Taylor. Just goes agonisingly past the post, but I think that overall, I think Walsall deserved the win.
Yeah, Walsall with 3 league wins in a row. Let's hear from both managers.
It's a really good start, but that's all it is, a start, and we want some consistency, which we didn't have last season. It's always nice to have an unbeaten start, but the games come thick and fast, and I've been using the squad, and I'll continue to do that because we have to.
Today just wasn't to be for us. We huffed and puffed towards the end to try and get an equaliser, but it wasn't to be, and it's a test for us now. We have to see, you know, we've won 3 games, everybody's shouting about we can do this and do that, and yet these are the tests for a young team, the adversity of a defeat and how we bounce back in the next one.
Now, Southend manager Phil Brown said this week that his young goalkeeper, Daniel Bentley, was hoping for a move to QPR. Brown, though, said it would be music to his ears if Rangers signed someone else. Well, they did. Alex Smithies from Huddersfield. So someone was happy at Southend today. The other one was in goal against Swindon.
With last season's top scorer Andy Williams departing in the summer, Swindon needed to find a replacement. And Fabian Ribeir's 3rd in consecutive games after latching onto a delightful set-up from Nathan Byrne would have delighted the Robins fans. Conversely, Southend's forwards need to sharpen up. Joe Piggott's shot charged down before midfielder Ben Coker fired over, as the home side failed to score for the 4th match in a row.
Back-to-back league wins had lifted Barnsley's ambitions for the season, but they endured a frustrating afternoon against a Bradford team who started the day at the foot of League One, but who could have led through Rory McCardle's overhead kick. And more than 10,000 at Oakwell had to wait until stoppage time for the game's best chance, as Alfie Mawson's header hit the post before the ball was scrambled away. Bradford still without a win, but a point lifts them off the bottom.
Only the top 4 in League One netted more than Rochdale last season. But after their young striker Joe Bunny missed 2 chances in quick succession, the second saved by the feet of Tommy Lee, they failed to score for the 2nd time in 3 league games. And with new boss Dean Saunders roaring on encouragement from the bench, it was Chesterfield who maybe should have won this game. Sylvan Ebanks-Blake on the end of a Lee Novak cross to bring a terrific save from Josh Lillis. And after the break, central defender Ian Everett failed to get a clean contact inside the box in a match of few genuine chances.
Burton have settled quickly into their first ever season as a League One club, and they sensed a 3rd win in 4 from the moment Abdenasser El Kayati edged them ahead with 36 minutes played. Peterborough have struggled on their travels recently. Before this trip, they'd gone 6 away games without victory, spanning this season and last. And Stuart Bevan's 2nd for the home side seems certain to extend that to 7. It was a feeling enhanced when Peterborough had Gabi Zakuani sent off with just under an hour played for a lunge on Timmy Teal. It may well have been the easiest decision referee Graham Salisbury had to make all afternoon, a straight red card. And yet the 10 men got themselves an unlikely late goal, which left Burton waiting anxiously for the final whistle. It was Marcus Maddison's 4th in his last 4 games, and it set up a big finish from Peterborough. With time just about up, Ricardo Santos somehow managed to make his way into the Burton penalty area and crossed for John Taylor. His shot rebounded off the post and fell to Jermaine Anderson. It looked like the equaliser, but the officials had spotted shirt pulling and the goal was ruled out, much to the disgust of the posh players and the fans who'd followed them to the Pirelli Stadium.
3 wins on the spin for Sheffield United, but they had to survive an early scare against struggling Blackpool. Young fullback David Ferguson, mighty unlucky early in the 2nd half. But soon the Blades, as expected, took control. Billy Sharp's 1st goal in this his 3rd spell for the club. And 12 minutes later, it was 2-0. Mark McNulty, joint top scorer in all competitions last season, latching on to a sparkling, sharp setup to wrap up a comfortable victory against a Blackpool side, now rock bottom in League One.
Yeah, they had that awful start to the season, didn't they, Sheffield United? They have not looked back since. We will have more from League One when we return. Welcome back to Football League tonight. We've already seen two of the hot shots in League One. Gillingham have their own in Bradley Dack. And Mr Virgo, you've been watching him play today.
Well, we saw earlier with Armstrong and Bradshaw, two strikers are in form, and this is another one. I think the worry for Gary Caldwell's side is the way that they're conceding goals. Great pressure here from Houghton, but then the awareness of Jordan Donnelly to find out the man at the moment. And all you've got to do is just hit the target, use the pace of the pass and put it into the net. I'm sure Justin Edinburgh this season will be delighted the way that his side has started. For me, this is a little bit controversial, Daniels and Dack. I just think he's run away with it just a little bit.
It wasn't the tightest of challenges.
No, it wasn't. I say the man in form, straight down the middle. Justin Edinburgh's really started well, but for Wigan, it's been a worrying start. Didn't score enough goals last season. They're defending poorly, and I think it's a slight worry for Gary Caldwell.
Bradley Dack scored 10 last season in the entire season, 5 in 5 so far this, so he's halfway there. But like you say about Wigan, you forget they have a young manager who is still learning himself, let alone the players.
Yeah, I played with Gary at Celtic and had a wonderful career, and just sometimes you've got to learn the hard way, and everyone assumes that we're going to go straight back up, but I'm sure there's a few things he needs to sort out first, but I'm pretty sure he'll get it right. All
right, where are we going next, Kelly?
Well, more League One now. You will like this one at the Alexandra Stadium as Crewe took on Bury.
Crewe's number 10, Brad Inman, was the inspiration for his side's opening goal against Bury. The final touch after just 3 minutes, coming from on-loan Swansea teenager Adam King, the first league goal of his career. But it was the number 10s on both sides, providing the moments of genuine quality. Danny Mayer cutting in from the left with serious belief to level up for Bury midway through the first half. The next 2 goals arrived from set plays. Crewe in front again after Billy Bingham's free kick set off alarm bells. Ryan Colclough restoring the home lead from close range. Before Tom Soares, who put away 8 in his best ever season last year, arrived to level the match for a second time. The former Crystal Palace midfielder with his first of the new campaign. And it seemed to galvanise his teammates in the second half. Mayer releasing Chris Hussey on the left, and it was Danny Rose who found the roof of the Crewe net. It seemed as though Crewe were heading for consecutive 3-2 defeats, but Inman had other ideas, showing real class and composure before sealing a fine individual performance and a deserved point for Crewe.
Fleetwood Town scored 4 midweek in a 7-goal thriller and continued that brilliant form in front of goal against Colchester. The first coming from midfielder Jimmy Ryan, who took advantage of the space afforded to him to give the home side the lead. And just 2 minutes later, David Ball gave Fleetwood a 2-goal cushion, thanks in part to a big deflection from Alex Winter. The celebration said he was definitely claiming it. Jamie Proctor scored the goal of the game with a fine cushioned effort, and then a moment to savour for Jamil Matt. The Jamaican striker missed all of last season through injury. He completed the scoring for Graham Alexander's side, who have now scored 8 in less than a week.
Despite being top scorer last season, Jonathan Fort had only netted twice in his previous 17 for Oldham, and he was out of luck before the break against Shrewsbury. But 7 minutes into the second half, the Latics did open the scoring. David Dunn dancing between Abu Agogo and Matt Tootle, and the ref felt the veteran midfielder had done enough to earn a penalty, calmly stuck away by Liam Kelly. Defeat would have meant the worst start for Shrewsbury in 15 years, but a mistake from Jonathan Byrne let in James Collins, and he kept his cool beautifully to make sure his side avoided 2 defeats in 5 days.
Port Vale had an early opportunity to try and end a run of 3 draws when Enoch Ando was tripped in the box. But Thorsten Stuckman denied Sam Foley from 12 yards. But after half an hour of almost constant pressure, something had to give. and there was nothing Stuckman could do as Foley headed in for his second of the season, rising above two static defenders to flick home. Having broken the deadlock, Vale quickly put those missed opportunities behind them. Uche Ikpeazu using all of his strength to bulldoze through the box and score just after the break. Byron Moore completed the win with the cheekiest of finishes, the first win of the season for Port Vale, and it's back to the defensive drawing board for Paul Dickoff's Doncaster.
Kevin Van Veen was one of 5 changes Scunthorpe boss Mark Robins made after their 3-0 defeat at Wigan, and the Dutch striker was unlucky not to give his side the lead. And the same bar was rattling after the interval as well. Mark Beevers a shade too high with the header. And Beevers was out of luck again when the ref penalised his challenge on Gary McSheffrey. Robins said his side were miles off the pace at Wigan in midweek. Paddy Madden was certainly miles over the bar from 12 yards. It was a choker for Madden, and worse was to follow when his far post header was cleared just in front of the Millwall line.
I think that penalty's just landed in our car park. Millwall's first clean sheet of the season. In League One, it's Gillingham and Walsall who top the division after 4 games. Both teams unbeaten with 10 points. Gillingham, though, lead the league thanks to a superior goal difference. Coventry, Sheffield United and Burton Albion are close behind on 9, and Swindon are in 6th place, closely followed by Fleetwood, Rochdale, Chesterfield and Barnsley.
Into the bottom half, it's Blackpool who find themselves rock bottom after just 1 draw from their opening 4 games. Colchester, Bradford, Southend, Crewe and Shrewsbury sit above them on 2 points.
Right, time for another quick cup of tea. League 2, though, when we return.
Tonight we're going to get going with some more goals now, and one of the favourites for League 2, Portsmouth, were at home to Morecambe. Should, you would think, be relatively straightforward, except it wasn't, Adam, was it?
No, it wasn't, Kelly, today. And Jim Bentley's side, I think he would have taken a point today, but when you go 3-0 up, and the way that they played in the first half was absolutely brilliant. Tom Parquet's in here, getting one-on-one with Davis. You either bring him down or you win the ball. Didn't do either. And that was the start that they wanted. And when you go to Portsmouth, the crowd at Fratton Park, the way that they are, I think you've got to play on the front foot. I think you've got to put these Portsmouth players under pressure. And again here, Alan Goodall, it's a free header, and you'll be disappointed with that. And they were really in cruise control, Portsmouth.
And it's such a long journey from Morecambe to Portsmouth as well. So those fans who got there must be thinking that the journey's worthwhile at this stage. They don't know what's coming.
Well, they would have thought they'd have come away with 3 points when this went in from Andy Goddell at the far post. Sorry, Andy Fleming at the far post. And you really thought then that the job was done and they'd have got 3 points.
So if you think you've seen the best of Morecambe and the worst of Portsmouth, maybe, did that then flip later in the game?
Yeah, and I think Paul Cook would be delighted the way that his players have reacted from today. He knows this man very well from Chesterfield, Gary Roberts, and this is a wonderful free kick, and that got the belief just before half-time. It's a great time to score, and I really felt second half that he would have come back and got these goals. And when you've got a good lead, what you tend to do is drop off deep, and you tend to go into your shells a little bit more. You know he's left-footed, you've got to show him down the line. What you don't do is show him inside. I'm sure Jim Bentley would be looking at the defending today and thinking that they should have done better. They were causing their own problems, and all of a sudden, when you're a Morecambe player, you get your tin hats on and you've got the Alamo running at you. And they really were just trying to hold out. I mean, this was a sending off, and then all of a sudden you think that you're going to be another chance.
So that was sending off for a second yellow, it wasn't a straight red,
exactly.
was it?
Stevens with the second yellow, and it was a yellow card. It'd been harsh to be a straight red. And all of a sudden, you think, even though that Portsmouth are getting back into the game, that they're going to get away with 3 points. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. Webster with the overlap. When you've got your centre-half overlap in here, you know that they're trying to throw everybody. And it was a great finish from Jayden Stockley at the far post, and hard take from Morecambe, but a great reaction from Paul Cook's side because they are favourites to go up. They've played well against Derby. That's easy to get up for Derby. It's the likes of Morecambe and your Dagenhams and teams like that will come to Portsmouth with no fear. And I think he'll be pleased at how they've come back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Portsmouth coming back from 3-0 down to draw 3-3 have a kind of a claim for comeback of the day, but you haven't seen Yeovil yet. We're going to make you wait a bit longer for that one.
Yeah, incredible game that. Now, 5 other unbeaten sides in Sky Bet League 2 heading into this weekend. So here's how they got on.
Stevenage boss Teddy Sheringham promised it would be no more Mr. Nice Guy, and it worked. A header by Fraser Franks and a second from Brett Williams ensured a first ever win as a manager for the new tough guy Teddy.
We knew it wasn't going to be easy. They're flying high at the moment, and to give them half a chance, we knew they would be back in it. So it was a case of making sure we didn't concede and seeing out the game.
If we can finish in that top 7, it'll be unbelievable for us. That's our aim. That's where we want to go. But at this present time, you know, we can't defend like we did today. We won't finish in the top 7.
Not worried was the verdict from Terry Butcher after Newport's winless first 3 games, but there must have been just a flicker of concern after only 4 minutes when Dean Cox crossed for Paul McCallum to head home, his 3rd goal already this season. Butcher and the home crowd must have feared the worst just 3 minutes later when former Arsenal starlet Jay Simpson made it 2, and what a strike it was. Now stand by for a football hitting the crossbar not once, not twice, but 3 times. McCallum again with the header. But League Two's early pace setters are about to have their own soft underbelly exposed. First, Scott Barrow's cross was met with an emphatic finish by Scott Bowden to pull one back for the Exiles, and remarkably, within a minute they were level. The crowd urged Mark Byrne to let fly, and let fly he certainly did. And suddenly Orient looked more like an outfit still affected by the trauma of relegation. Newport were in fact still firmly in the ascendancy when the O's went in front. Blair Turgott this time the man to whip in the cross for Dean Cox's winner, a winner that maintained League Two's only 100% record.
With Wycombe having won 3 out of 3 and their opponents still without a point, this looked like an absolute home banker. But no one banked on former Wycombe striker Matt McClure becoming the first player to breach the Chairboys' rearguard this season. But his afternoon was to end in ignominy, sent off with 14 minutes left for picking up a second yellow card, and it cost his side dear. Because in the 5th minute of stoppage time, the 10 men finally crumbled as Aaron Pierre headed in his 2nd goal in a week to ensure Wycombe stay 2nd and Daggers bottom.
Cambridge returned to the Abbey after 3 straight away games in League and Cup, but home comforts were in short supply in the first ever Football League meeting between these two. Rory Deacon soon gave the first indication that it might just be his day. Deacon was, though, soon celebrating after another long-range effort, but this time a huge deflection off the back of Mark Roberts made the difference. And what an afternoon it turned out to be for the summer signing from Stevenage. There was nothing lucky about this run and finish, as he doubled his goals tally for the whole of last season early in the second half. The U's had a chance to get back in the game when Liam Donnelly paid the price for charging out early from the wall. No penalty for persistent encroachment, but he did receive a second yellow card. On the day, Crawley let last season's top scorer Isel McLeod join rivals Notts County for a 6-figure fee. Gwion Edwards tapped home a 3rd league goal of the season already after good work by Bobson Balling. And Cambridge surrendered their unbeaten record.
Oxford came into this one unbeaten in 4 games, but that record was quickly threatened by Mansfield, who'd won only 1 of their last 6, as Craig Westcott opened the scoring with just 3 minutes played. It should have quickly been 2. After 86 games without a penalty, Mansfield finally got one when Sam Slocum pulled down Mitch Rose, but Matt Green duly missed it. But when Oxford were awarded a spot kick themselves, they made no mistake. Callum O'Dowda was brought down by Reggie Lamb, and Kemar Roof continued to hit the heights with his 4th goal in successive games.
Oh, thank God for Kemar Roof when it comes to taking penalties. This is a really short break. Stay where you are. We'll have the rest of League Two when we return, and a look back at all the headlines of the day.
Well played, that man. Football League Tonight is brought to you by Ginsters.
Thursday on Channel 5. If you like your brothers big, prepare yourself for the celebrity event of the year. The United States of America take on the United Kingdom. 2 nations, 1 house. It's the ultimate SmackDown.
What exactly is a SmackDown?
It's American for a big fight.
How very uncivilized.
Go on then. Get on with it.
Yes, man! Celebrity Big Brother, UK versus USA, starts Thursday at 9 on Channel 5.
Monday on Channel 5.
We were financially ruined, and my marriage was ruined, and my family was ruined.
I wanted to leave.
I'm very lucky I didn't end up dead.
I'll put a spell on you. How much of what they preach do they truly practice?
Everybody was going to be happy.
Inside Scientology and Escaping the Witnesses, Monday at 9 on Channel 5.
See, we told you it was a quick break, didn't we? 30 games in the can by my maths, so 6 more matches from Sky Bet League 2 to bring you, and we'll start with Bristol Rovers against Barnet.
Bristol Rovers couldn't quite catch Barnet for the conference title, 1 point the difference between them last season, but Darrell Clark's side were the quickest to assert their authority here, through Lee Brown less than 3 minutes in. Rovers started the second half just as they did the first, but had to wait until minute 77 to double their lead, as Matty Taylor's initial shot fell perfectly for Wales international Jermaine Easter. Soon after, another fortunate deflection, this time fell kindly for a Barnet player, and Curtis Weston gave the Bees hope of a late recovery. But the party atmosphere at the Memorial and Matty Taylor's scoring touch were quickly restored, as last season's top scorer took advantage of more good play from Chris Lines. 3 straight wins in a week for Rovers.
"169 hardy Carlisle fans endured a 779-mile round trip to Plymouth on Tuesday, only to see their side lose. But home advantage didn't seem to be working in their favour either, when Andy Barcham gave the Wimbledon fans, who were travelling a mere 660 miles, plenty to sing about. But in Jabo Ibere, Carlisle have a player bang on form. This was his 7th goal in 5 games since joining the club, 3 more than he managed for older man Barnsley in the whole of last season.
It says an awful lot that this Ryan Harley free kick made it into the first half highlights at St James Park, and the second half wasn't a great deal better either. York had very little to offer, as manager Russ Wilcox admitted the 8-hour coach trip took its toll. Exeter probably should have nicked a win, though, after Tom Nichols broke free to tee up Harley, but the Grecians midfielder could only provide the kind of finish this game deserved.
After starting with back-to-back wins, Northampton came unstuck at Barnet in midweek, and the Malays continued against Plymouth, who took the lead at Sixfields as Graham Carey burst through for his 2nd goal of the season. And Argyle made sure it was 3 wins out of 4 when Jake Jervis made it 2-0, adding to his 2 goals which helped beat Carlisle on Tuesday. And a miserable week for the Cobblers ended on another low note, as Josh Leyland was sent off for a 2nd booking. Plymouth are up into the top 3.
Ricardo Moniz called Tuesday's defeat at Oxford more disappointing than the day Notts County were relegated last season, so it's safe to say he wasn't impressed and promptly made 3 changes for this one. One of them, Gennaro Snyder's, wastefully blasted over after Graham Burke hit the post. The deadlock was finally broken with little more than a quarter of an hour to go. Liam Noble with a tantalising delivery for Burke to finish, one of County's 18 summer signings. Noble's next decisive contribution, though, was a negative one. Straight red the verdict for this rash stamp on Josh Windass, and suddenly Stanley saw a glimmer of light. A minute from time, the chance came from a Sean McConville corner. Roy Carroll could only parry to Matt Crooks, who smashed home his first ever league goal.
Back-to-back relegations and 3 straight league defeats. Things couldn't be much worse for Yeovil, and the early signs weren't encouraging. After only 4 minutes, Luton's new signing, Craig McHale-Smith, scored his 1st goal in 30 games, and it was certainly worth the wait. The Hatters then doubled the Glovers' agony, Paul Benson striking from close range. Yeovil were given some cheer, though, when defender Stephen Arthurworry popped up to head home their 1st goal in 4 games. And that sparked quite a turnaround. Ryan Bird levelled the score with 28 minutes left, and then struck an impressive winner to seal an improbable but much-needed victory, which left Luton 3rd from bottom as Yeovil climbed to 19th.
Well, what a comeback that one was. Let's take a look at the table then. And in League Two, Leyton Orient remain the only Football League team to have won all 4 of their games this season. They sit top of the league with 12 points. Wycombe have got 10 points in second place. Plymouth, Bristol Rovers and Hartlepool very close behind on 9. Portsmouth, Cambridge, Exeter complete the top 8.
At the bottom of League Two, Dagenham and Redbridge and Newport County, who both have 1 point from their 4 games. Luton, Barnet, Carlisle and Yeovil occupy the places directly above the relegation zone.
That is your Sky Bet Football League tonight, and at the end of the day...
Charlton are celebrating a 98th minute winner. Manager Guy Luzon gets too excited and is sent off.
But it's Mick McCarthy's Ipswich who are top of the pile thanks to a win at Preston.
Dax the lad for Gillingham. His goals take them top of League One.
And League Two favourites Pompey go 3 goals down, but they pull them back for a 3-all draw.
Quick look at the Football League paper. The headline tomorrow, Andre Gray vowing to get his new employers promoted to the Premier League. Might as well be confident early on.
Very expensive move from Brentford to Burnley for him, but he's full of confidence. Thanks very much to Adam Virgo. Thank you to Clint Hill, who joined us earlier on Football League tonight. We'll be back next week at 9. We'll leave you with what we think is the goal of the day.